Hi everyone. So the other day I asked you guys to ask me on Instagram some juicy questions about periods, about my body image story, about sex. I thought whilst I'm doing that, I would do a peach inspired makeup look because, well, peach pack, periods, it's all intertwined. I'm not going to do a tutorial. I'm just going to do my makeup whilst I chat to you guys. So enjoy. Someone asked, how old were you when you got your first ever period? So I was 11 years old, which is quite young. I think I was one of the first girls to get my period in my year level. We hadn't gone through sex ed at school yet, and none of my friends had gotten their period yet. So I remember feeling quite isolated in that experience. And yeah, I think I didn't tell my friends that I had it for over a year because I was just so ashamed and embarrassed that I had got it before anyone else, which is so sad to think about. And my friends wouldn't have judged me. We were so young. It just shows how deeply embedded the feeling of shame and embarrassment surrounding periods is within society, because no one had even told me that it was an embarrassing thing. I just somehow knew that it was, so I didn't tell anyone. Obviously I told my family. And I guess this leads on to our next question, which is, what is your first period story? So as I just said, I was 11 years old at the time when I got my period, and it's quite a funny story. Basically, my mum had never left her children alone with my dad before, but basically it was her nephew's wedding in South Africa, and it was just at a time where we all couldn't go. I think we had school, my dad had work, so my mum ended up going by herself. Anyway, already she was freaking out just because, she had never left her kids before. And so it had been a week, I think, since she had left, and it was Friday night, and my brothers, myself, and my dad went to our family friends for dinner. Midway through dinner, I got up, went to the toilet, pulled down my undies, and saw that I had a puddle of blood sitting in my undies. I remember freaking out, but just being okay, I don't want to make a scene. I'm just going to pull my undies back up, go back to the table, and not say anything. So that's what I did. I went back to the dinner table, didn't say anything, and continued just as normal. Anyway, obviously the rest of the night I was low-key freaking out. And then when I got home, I ran upstairs, went to the toilet, and opened the door and pretended as if that was the first time I was seeing the blood in my undies. So I screamed out to my dad. I was like, "Dad!" And he came over to the toilet, saw that I had got my period, but long story short, my dad and my 3 brothers started running around the house like absolute headless chickens to try find me period products, because I had no idea what to use. I had never even been through a sex ed class at school, so I seriously had no idea. Anyway, 10 minutes later, they came back with nothing, so my dad folded up some toilet paper, placed it in my undies, and sent me to bed. And then the next morning I woke up with some very colorful sheets, because obviously toilet paper is not sturdy enough for the amount of blood that was coming out of my vajayjay. My family friend, who's an auntie to me, took me to the store, got me everything, and my mum called me sobbing, because what are the chances 1 out of 4 of her children is a girl, and the one time she decides to leave us alone with my dad, her daughter, just so happens to be me, gets her period. It's so funny how the world works like that. I actually recently told the story in a blog post that we wrote on Peach Pack, so if you want to read about it more in detail, then you can go click the link in the description below. Someone asked, do you deal with emotional shifts during your period? So I definitely experience emotional shifts, especially during PMS, so the week before my period. I get quite anxious and quite irritable. Because I've been experiencing this over the years, I've become quite self-aware about it. So what I usually like to do during that time, when I am feeling a bit more angsty and on edge, I just remove myself from situations that I know are going to irritate me or frustrate me more. I usually like to take extra time for self-care. I usually light a bath, put on a bath and light some candles, and use all of the self-care products from our Peach Pack. I feel because of the conceived ideas that, women become so moody on their periods. We have learned to be ashamed of it, and to be honest, like, yeah, I am more moody on my period, but it's because my body's going through crazy things, and it's because our hormones are going crazy. So we are more likely to be more irritable and to get frustrated. So instead of like pushing that away, I think it's about accepting it and embracing it, and then just learning what measures you can take to really help you get through that time. If we try to suppress it, then we're just going to get more irritated with ourselves and with others. So yeah, I guess if I can give you a tip, it would just be accept it, embrace it, and then take extra time out for yourself. Someone said, have you ever lost your period for a certain amount of time? So yes, I've spoken about this before, but if you are new here, I went through an eating disorder when I was in grade 8, and it got to a point where I ended up losing my period for around 9 months due to the amount of weight that I had lost. So it was a very anxious driven time for me. I'm so grateful that I was able to get through my eating disorder and put back on the necessary weight in order for me to get my period back. I think not getting it for 9 months was such a shock to me, and it was so scary that now I'm just so grateful every time I get it, which is actually weird, and I thought I'd quickly share it with you. But basically last year I ended up going off the contraceptive pill. I'd been on it for quite a few years, and I just wanted to see how my body would respond in its natural state, I guess. So I went off it last year, and I ended up getting my period like straight, like the month after I had stopped the pill, and been regular ever since. And then in February, when I was in the US, I got my period at the beginning of Feb, and then I ended up getting it at the end of February. So I was expecting to get it at the end of March. Now, when it came to the end of March, it was when I was flying home back from the States, and I am still waiting to get my period, and it's now nearly the end of April. So I'm hoping that I'll get it now, but if not, I don't know why I haven't got it. Don't worry, I'm not pregnant. That is ruled out. But yeah, I don't know if it was the flying, if my body could still be adjusting to getting off the pill. I'm not sure. But yeah, because of my past experience with losing it, this is quite a triggering situation for me. But I am just hoping that I will get it, but I will keep you guys updated. Someone asked, have you tried a menstrual cup? I actually haven't tried one. I think because I'm comfortable using pads and tampons as long as they are natural and organic. Yeah, so I haven't felt the need to try a menstrual cup, but I do know they are much better for the environment, so I guess I should try it. I'm definitely not closed off to it. Do you guys use menstrual cups? If you do, let me know how they are. Someone asked, is sex something that is spoken about in your family? For being completely honest, not really. Like, we are very open and honest with each other, but in terms of sex and that type of stuff, not really. I think especially because I'm the only girl and I have 3 protective brothers, I guess I kind of didn't feel comfortable really telling them. I feel like as we've gotten older, we are definitely more relaxed about it and sometimes make like funny comments about things. But yeah, like as a family, it's not like it's a topic at the dinner table. But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys speak to your family about that stuff? I don't know. I'm always intrigued when like families are so open, like just because, yeah, I guess that wasn't really the case for us. Not to say one's good and one's bad. It's just up to each family. Someone asked, do you use Facetune?
Why did I say it like that?
Facetune for your photos on Instagram. I've never downloaded Facetune or any of those apps. I have like adjusted brightness and like exposure and stuff, but I've never altered my face or my body. Yeah, I don't know if this is controversial, but I'm kind of very much so against those apps. And I don't want this to come across as a judgmental thing, because I recognize that it's actually not our fault. Like, people using those apps, it's not their fault that they want to make themselves look a certain way. I think just because of the nature of society and our beauty standards, we feel the need to change ourselves. For example, I never felt insecure about my lips, and then since Kylie Jenner and this new trend of having big lips, I have all of a sudden become like really insecure about my lips, which is just crazy. Like the fact that I never thought about that before, but now like a beauty trend has made me insecure. It's like really crazy to think about. And I think for me personally, I want to be able to recognize that I don't need to change my lips in order to fit into that mold. And I think, yeah, I want to use this platform for good and for like talking about things that I care about. And if I can promote to you guys, you know, that you're beautiful no matter what you look like and whether you have big lips or don't have big lips, I think that would just make me really happy. And I also believe that everyone has the right to do whatever they want to their body. I just think it's important for us to ask questions about like, why do I feel the need to face tune? Why do I feel the need to, even with makeup, like why do I feel the need to wear makeup? Like it's just important to ask those types of questions so that we are constantly learning and not just accepting the status quo, I guess. Okay guys, we are done the makeup look and I think that's it for the questions. So I'm gonna go make some lunch, but I hope you enjoyed this video and let me know in the comments below if you want me to do more of these. Bye.